Hi everyone. Less than a year ago, in May 2020, I addressed you at what was our first attempt at a virtual Board of Governors. I do not think that any of us really expected that almost a year later, we would still be in the grips of COVID-19 and would be holding a second virtual board. Last May, there were around 16,000 confirmed cases and some 250 deaths from the virus in Israel. Now, there are some 800,000 confirmed cases and over 6,000 deaths. And yet, as I address you, there is a sense of optimism as science and human ingenuity have come up with vaccines which will allow us to live with the coronavirus and return to a semblance of normality. As a community of academics, leaders and administrators, we have come together to make the best out of a difficult situation. Our undergraduates have been able to continue their studies, albeit from a distance, and mainly via the computer screen. And while this has not been ideal, it has definitely been better than nothing. Our postgraduates have continued coming to their labs and doing their research while taking all the necessary precautions, such as keeping physical distance and wearing masks, allowing them to stay healthy. And perhaps, even more surprisingly, the number of students who have started their university education this academic year rose in comparison to last year. My guess is that aside from this being a strong vote of confidence in the university and what we are doing, it is also a reflection of the job market and the fact that travel abroad has never been less enticing. Every crisis is also an opportunity for re-evaluation and change. The past year has given us all much food for thought about how we teach, the structure of our courses, how we engage our students, the ways we evaluate them, and what skills and tools they need in a fast-changing work environment. We have invested heavily in technology that will allow for hybrid teaching, adapting almost 100 of our lecture halls and classrooms to allow students to choose whether to be physically present in the classroom or connected via Zoom on their computers. A camera follows the lecturer's movements and focuses on what she writes on the whiteboard. Loudspeakers allow the students at home to participate in the discussion, and there is a screen on the podium which allows the lecturer to control what is going on in the classroom and to engage with those at home. This investment in technology is designed to allow far more flexibility in both learning and teaching during and after Corona. How we evaluate courses has also changed and has raised interesting ethical issues about the invasion of privacy on the one hand and technologically ensuring the integrity of online exams on the other. In the end, and after much discussion and deliberation, we opted for less intrusive software and more online proctoring, though it is clear to us all that there were not inconsequential number of students who played a little freely with the ethical code of conduct. At the end of the day, however, in many courses, much of the emphasis moved from examinations to coursework done during the semester in determining the final grade. This change has additional benefits in increasing the skill sets that the students get from the course. Instead of simply regurgitating material as often happens in exams, they need to engage with what they are learning and put theory into practice. In many discussions that I have held with our academic staff, I have discovered that they are using the online platforms as a way of stimulating discussion and debate by, for instance, setting up breakout rooms where students have to come up with solutions to problems based on the theoretical materials being taught in the plenum. Instead of being passive listeners, as students often are in a classroom setting, they become active participants and acquire a more in-depth knowledge of their subject. The use of course blogs as a way of getting the students to continue being involved after the formal lecture, with their imports being counted towards their final grade if it makes a significant contribution, is also something new. These new ways of doing things will carry over into the post-corona world or the new corona reality and will inform much of what we do at the university. We have also used this time to move forward with our long-term goal of being a world-leading university, working on initiatives that provide new vistas and opportunities for research and teaching while breaking down barriers between disciplines and encouraging cooperation and collaboration. Our new School of Sustainability and Climate Change is a prime example and goes hand in hand with a revamped program in statistics and data analysis, which is becoming an increasingly important knowledge and skill area for many different disciplines in the university. Our second intake of hand-picked, excellent students are continuing their studies in the A-TON program, which gives them the freedom during their first 2 years to take classes from almost any degree program they want as they decide what area they want to focus on for their postgraduate work. This small but select group of students who are on full scholarships will be in high demand by labs all over the university, and the program has aroused great interest around the country and is bringing truly excellent candidates to apply to the university. David Lodge, one of the finest satirical novelists on the topic of academia in the 20th century, wrote about the genesis of his novel Small World, and I quote, "It gradually grew on me that there was an analogy between my story and the Arthurian story, particularly the Grail quest, in which a group of knights wander around the world, having adventures, pursuing ladies, love and glory, jousting with each other, meeting rather coincidentally or unexpectedly, facing constant challenges and crises, and so on. This all corresponded to the modern world with its round table of professors, the elite group who get invited to conferences, who go around the world in pursuit of glory. Sometimes they take the opportunity to joust with each other in debate, pursuing glory in the sense of wanting to be at the top of their profession," end quote. While perhaps an exaggerated depiction of the conference circuit and the additional benefits of academic life, Lodge colourfully describes what has gone missing from academia over the past year: collegiality, dialogue, and discussion, things which are so crucial for the fruitful exchange of ideas and building academic partnerships, which are necessary for producing excellent research. What is missing is the daily interaction over a cup of coffee in the cafeteria, a chance meeting in the library stacks, and an off-the-cuff remark by a student which can lead to new avenues of research and great ideas. Returning to the campus is not a luxury, but a necessity for researchers and students alike. Our students come to the university not only because of the quality of the degrees they get, but also because of the student life on and around campus, which provides them with a safe space and time to explore their identities, ask questions about their purpose and meaning of life, do volunteer work, and party. Our researchers need the informal interaction with each other and with their students, which is so central to academic creativity. Collaborative research perhaps can be done online, but making the initial connections can only happen in the informal yet stimulating academic atmosphere of a vibrant, bustling, and engaged campus. We are working hard to bring back that reality. The vaccination program has provided us with safe ways of bringing the university campuses back to life. I am full of admiration for our academic faculty, our administrative and technical staff, and of course our students. The past year has been extremely challenging for everyone, and we have all had to think about how we arrange our time, how we find the right balance between work and home when the latter has often become our workplace, how we balance parenting on steroids with study and research, how we make ends meet financially, and how to support our loved ones, grandparents, parents, partners, children, while also taking care of our own needs. This is an opportunity to thank them for all they have done for the university community over the last year. I very much hope that this second virtual Board of Governors will be the last one, and that next year we will be able to host you all on campus. I am certain that we will all have plenty of Corona stories to tell, and that this challenging period will have an impact on how we live our lives and decide what is important and what is less so. We are determined to continue to make an impact on the Negev, Israel, and the world, and we are grateful to have you all as our partners and friends. Next year, in Israel, Be'er Sheva, and at Ben Gurion University of the Negev. Thank you to one and all, and stay safe.